I am a Game of Thrones enthusiast.
After 5 seasons, this woman asked Arya a question that I've really been trying to get to. This woman asked Arya, who knows that death is surrounding them. She says, what do you say to the angel of death? And Arya says, you tell him not today. And that really blessed me, whether you know the show or not, because it's really a theological bomb that challenges us to face death in some very different ways than we are accustomed to facing death. Maybe we need to be like Arya and look at death in the face and say, not today. In fact, many of us are dealing with a multifarious death. Death is not always an end of life experience, but some of us are dealing with multiple types of death. But no matter what that death is, you ought to be bold enough, courageous enough to look at death and say, not today. In fact, when I think about the slow death of gentrification, there ought to be some church folk that say, not today. When we look at the slow death of unemployment, there ought to be some folk in church today that say, not today. When we look at how schools have become death machines because Congress refuses to act to ensure that no more AR-15s are able to make their way into the hands of people who are unstable, we ought to be able to say, not today. When we have a healthcare system that allows women to die in spite of their class and sometimes in spite of their race, there ought to be some faith folk that shout, not today. When we look at political deaths like what happened on January 6th or what we know about Project 2025, there ought to be some church folk that say, not today. When they want to cut funding from our schools, we ought to say, not today. When they want to tell us what we can do with our bodies, we ought to say, not today. When they want to under-regulate the market so they can over-regulate women's bodies, we ought to say, not today. When you have politicians who think they can elect their voters instead of voters electing their politicians, we ought to be able to shout, not today. I wish there was some death-defying people that came to the Fountain Church today that can say, whenever death tries to rear its head, I've learned how to look it squarely in the face and say, not today. When my dreams die, not today. When my vision is being threatened, not today. When my emotions are being racked, not today. Anybody came to church today with a not today in your spirit, and it does not matter what the form of death may be. You have enough theological courage to shout, not today.